Hello. Today is July 13th, 2025. Well, I'm here to share a word from the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 7. I was hearing that some of us are ready for this word at this time. So without further ado, chapter 7. When I finished speaking these words, the angel who had been sent to me on previous nights was sent to me again and said to me, "Rise up, Ezra, and hear the words I have come to speak to you." I said, "Speak to me, Lord." The angel said to me, "A certain sea is set in a spacious place, so that it can be deep and vast. But its entrance is set in a narrow place, like a river. If anyone wants to go to the sea to see it or to rule over it, how can he come into a broad place unless he passes through the narrow?" Another instance. A city is built and positioned on a broad plain, full of all good things. Its entrance, however, is narrow and located on a precipice, so that there is fire on the right and deep water on the left. There is a single path located between them, between the fire and the water, and the path has only room for human footprints. If that city is given to someone as an inheritance, if their heir doesn't pass through the danger, how will the heir receive the inheritance?" I said, "Indeed, Lord." The angel said unto me, "So also is Israel's portion. I indeed made the world on account of them. When Adam transgressed my ordinances, what had been made was judged, and the entrance of this world were made narrow, sorrowful, and troublesome. They are few and bad, full of dangers and involving people in great hardships. The entrances of the greater world, however, are spacious and secure, and they generate the fruit of immortality. If those who live don't enter into narrow and empty places, they can't receive the things that are in store. Therefore, why are you disturbed, being corruptible, and why are you upset, being mortal? Why haven't you focused your mind on what is still to come, rather than on what is present?" I answered, "Supreme Lord, you ordained in your law that the just will inherit these things, but the impious will perish. The just then can tolerate the narrow, hoping for the spacious, but those who have acted impiously endure the narrow and won't see the spacious." He said to me, "You aren't a higher judge than God, nor more intelligent than the Most High. Better that many of those now alive should perish than that the law of God, which is laid out before them, be disregarded. God commanded those who come into the world after they came what they needed to do to live, and what the laws they should observe to avoid punishment. But they weren't persuaded and opposed them. They filled their heads with worthless thoughts. They invented excuses for their sins. They emphatically denied the Most High exists, and they didn't learn his ways. They despised his laws and rejected his covenants, and they weren't faithful to his statutes, and didn't perform the works he prescribed. Therefore, Ezra, empty things are for empty. Empty things are for the empty, and full things are for the full. Look, the time is coming when the signs appear that I told you about in advance, and the city will appear, appearing as a bride, and the land that is now hidden will be openly displayed. Everyone who is rescued from the evils foretold will see my wonders. My Son, the Anointed One, will be revealed along with those who are with him, and those who remain will rejoice for 400 years. After these years, my Son, the Anointed One, and all who have human breath will die. The world will be turned back to primeval silence for 7 days, as in the earliest beginnings, so that no one is left alive. After 7 days, the world that isn't yet awake will be roused, and the corrupt world will die. The earth will give back those who sleep, and the dust will give back in silence those who dwell in it, and the resting places will give back the souls that have been entrusted to them. Time to wake up. The Most High will be revealed on the throne of judgment, and mercy will pass away. Patience will be withdrawn, and only judgment will remain. Truth will rise, faith will recover strength. Truth will rise, faith will recover strength, and works will have their consequences. Reward will come about, righteous deeds will awake, and unrighteous deeds won't sleep. The lake of torment will appear, and across from it will be a place of rest. Hell's furnace will be displayed, and across from it the delightful paradise. The Most High will speak to the nations that have been raised. Look and understand whom it is you have denied, whom you haven't served, and whose ordinances you have despised. Look to one side, and then to the other. Here is delight and rest, and over there are fire and torments. He will say these things to them on the judgment day, a day that has no sun or moon or stars, no cloud or thunder or lightning, no wind or water or air, no darkness or evening or morning, no summer or spring or heat, no winter or frost or cold, nor hail or rain or dew, no noon, no night, or early dawn, no shining of brightness or light, but only the splendor of the light of the Most High. All will then begin to see what things are in store for them. It will take a period of about a week of years. This is my judgment, and the arrangements made for it. I have shown this to you alone. I replied, and I said before the Lord, and I say now, privileged are those now seeing who observe what you have commanded. But what of those who are the subject of my prayer? Who is there at all of the living who hasn't sinned, or who among those who have been born hasn't transgressed your covenant? Now I see that the world to come will bring delight to few, but torment to many. The inclination to do evil grew in us. It alienated us and led us into corruption, and the paths that led to death. It showed us the way to damnation, and removed us far from life. And this happened not to a few people, but to nearly all who were ever created. He replied to me, listen to me, and I will instruct you, and will advise you yet again. Because of this, the Most High made not one world but two. Regarding what you said about the just being not many but few, and the wicked being numerous, think about this. If you have very few choice stones, will you add lead and clay to their number? I said, Lord, who would do such a thing? He said unto me, not only this, but ask the earth, and it will inform you. Flatter it, and it will tell you. Say to it, you create gold, silver, bronze, iron, and also lead and clay. But silver is more numerous than gold, and bronze than silver, and iron than bronze, and lead than iron, and clay than lead. And decide for yourself then which things are precious and desirable, what is abundant, or what is rare. I said, Supreme Lord, that which is abundant is cheaper. because what is more rare is valuable. He replied to me, reflect on what you have thought. Only one who has what is scarce rejoices more than one who has what is abundant. So also will be the judgment I have promised. I will rejoice over the few who will be saved, because they are the ones who made my honor to prevail now, and through whom my reputation is celebrated. I will have no regrets over the multitude who perish, for they are even now like vapor, the equivalent of flame or smoke. They burn and flare up and are quenched. I replied, Earth, what have you brought to birth? If consciousness is made of dust like other creatures, it would have been better that the dust itself had never been born, so that consciousness shouldn't be made from it. But now consciousness grows with us, and due to this we are tortured, because we perish and are aware of the fact. Let the human race lament, and let the wild beasts rejoice, and let all people who are born lament. But let four-footed animals and flocks be happy. It is much better for them than for us. They don't expect judgment. They don't know about either the torments or the deliverance that you promise after death. But what does it profit us that we will be preserved only to be tortured with torments? All who are born are mixed up with violations, full of sins, and weighed down with crimes. If we were not to come into judgment after death, it would perhaps have been better for us. He replied to me, when the Most High made the world and Adam and all who were descended from him, he first prepared the judgment and the things that pertain to the judgment. Now understand on the basis of your own words, because you said consciousness grows with us. Those who sojourn on earth will be tormented precisely because, although they were aware they committed violations, although they received the commandments, they didn't keep them. When they did follow the law, they falsified its contents. What will they have to say in the judgment? How will they respond in the last times? How long a time the Most High has put up with those who inhabit the world? But this wasn't for their sakes, rather for the sake of the schedule that he has established for the unfolding of the times. And I replied, if I have found favor with you, Lord Most High, show this also to your servant. After death, as soon as each person gives up his or her soul, will we be kept until the time comes for you to begin a new creation, or will we be tormented right away? He replied to me, I will show you this too. But don't associate yourself with those who have shown contempt, and don't count yourself among those who are tormented. You have a treasure of works stored up with the Most High, but it won't be shown to you until the last times. Now, a word about death. When the final sentence goes forth from the Most High that a person should die, when the spirit recedes from the body so that it may be sent again to him who gave it, the first thing is to stand in awe before the glory of the Most High. If the spirit belonged to one of those who showed contempt and didn't keep the Most High's ways, if it was one of those who despised his law and who hates those who fear God, these spirits don't go into their dwellings, but will immediately wander about in torments. They will constantly grieve and be sorrowful for 7 reasons. The first reason, because they despise the law of the Most High. The second reason, because they can't now effectively change their hearts and lives so that they might live. The third reason, because they will see the reward laid up for those who have believed in the Most High's testimonies. The fourth reason, because they will consider the torments laid up for themselves in the last days. The fifth reason, because they will see the dwelling places of others guarded by angels in great silence. The sixth reason, because they see the torment coming upon them from now on. The seventh reason, which is greater than all the previously mentioned reasons, because they will melt away in confusion and be consumed in disgrace. They will wither in fear when they see the glory of the Most High, before whom they have sinned, when they were alive, and before whom they are to be judged in the last times. I want to read this again over here in verse 10. I said, "Indeed, Lord," he said to me, "so also is Israel's portion. I indeed made the world on account of them." So yeah, that's what I was asked to share. That's what I wanted to share. Glorious good news.